is a good-minded debater because there are certain lines he never forgets. that shows that he does his homework well. Only that, the only one point we didn't agree on is that. But I'll invite him as we leave the studio. I'll be inviting him to Kiambaa now, this time formally, because I saw he sneaked there when I was away. that saying of, paka akiondoka.
Fanya utawala.
Nataka sasa I will invite him properly.
Yes.
Trevor, this debate about IEBC, it cannot just be held somewhere in the sidelines the way actually IEBC pretended to do it. First, because I would describe it from my perspective as shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
I believe the conversation IEBC needs to have with Kenyans right now must be well, planned. It has got to be timed, choreographed properly, and in phases that are supposed to address the underlying issues that have led us to where we have been in elections. And the first point of call for IEBC must be first, under their big banner there, must be to conduct elections that will be violence-free. That is key. But in the lead up to that, what do they need to do? First, Trevor, you'd address yourself to what have they not done now up to where they are and they have not told Kenyans. I would have been very happy to hear first a proper discussion with IEBC telling us how far have they gone with voter registration as up to now, even before we go to the other details. Because remember, during the ruling that was given in the High Court on the contested referendum issue, the question of voter registration came up, consistently as part of the ongoing processes that IEBC is supposed to be carrying out. The question of delineation of boundaries came up, and that is a constitutional mandate for IEBC to have undertaken to ensure that there is equal and proper representation of Kenyans across this country. And still, part of that process involves fairness in the outcome of elections. Because when we go into an election in 2022, while we have sub-counties in Kiambu that have got the population equal to 5 times other sub-counties, then what are we saying? And I believe those are issues that they would need to be addressing. And I would agree only to the extent with this heading that it will be an election like no other. We have to agree that indeed, if some issues are not addressed, that's the way it's going to be. Remember, just recently, and I don't know whether that discussion has been had here between you and any other panelists. Remember, they said that this time, we are going to go to the elections with implementation of the law that candidates must have degrees. And you've seen the kind of whirlwind it has kicked in aspiring candidates. There is already a court case that was filed in the High Court. There are petitions which have already been received in Parliament. And I remember us having that discussion here, and we were asking ourselves here, should people be barred from running for elective positions, democratic representative positions, on the basis that they don't have degrees? And we put our mind to it. I believe from what the ongoing debate and what's happening within Parliament and in the courts, that's going to be a major issue. But I have other fundamental issues that I would really want to hear IEBC talking about. Remember, Trevor, our parties receive funding from government. And you have seen in the guidelines published here that we have been saying we don't want parties that are cronied, that are filled by people who are interest holders and lobbyists who want to direct parties how they'll conduct their business. And then we have opened this wide gate in spite of billions of shillings being pumped into political parties. And they were saying now you can still again open your doors and raise to a maximum of 15 billion. when you tell a senator, for example, who has absolutely no other funds to receive, or even a governor, that you can raise and campaign using a kitty that is allowed up to 400 million. Why are you expecting Governor Mutua, if he was running for governor, to raise 400 million? On the question, for example, of independent candidates, and remember the hulabalo we had the last time with independent candidates, IEBC goes ahead to publish these rules that says that immediately after 2 weeks of party primaries, that a candidate can still be able to party hope and go and run as an independent candidate. While the law itself is clear that for you to run as an independent candidate, you're not supposed to have been a member of a party for a period of so many months, which does not allow you to party hope. Then what kind of chaos are we saying we want to entertain during the process of electioneering? Remember the last time, the independent movement of candidates almost became a third force, if you remember, because they went and registered themselves and they dressed themselves in white capes and white t-shirts, and it became another new party called Party of Independent Candidates. While the opposite is true of what they're supposed to represent. I believe those are issues that the IEBC should be addressing itself. Look at what they have said on the issue of resignation of public servants. There was already a court ruling, which I believe has not been appealed up to today, that civil servants can continue to hold their jobs until when every other person is supposed to have resigned and kicked off their campaigns, as opposed to the 6-month period that IEBC has gazetted. So what we are saying in terms of them being ready and giving out rules and regulations that are compliant and in tandem with reality, I believe that we have a lot of work to do. I don't want to be repetitive on what my colleagues have said, but I believe the question of them being ready to the extent that the commissioners are in place is a matter that cannot be gainsaid. So moving forward, IEBC can only tell Kenyans that they have started house cleaning right now and housekeeping, and moving on, they will be addressing Kenyans constantly as to how they're updating themselves and organizing themselves to be able to conduct an election that is going to deliver us the candidates that we want and that Kenyans have voted for in that election.